Never work for this. This is what keeps people poor. This, the rupee, the peso, the yen, the yuan. He says, never work for this. If you learn never to work for money, you'll be a rich man. The people that are being screwed today are the poor and middle class because they work for money. You know, the banker friends, they're not working for money.
They have money working for them.
Yeah, very big difference in mentality here. What is financial education? It's not get a job, work hard, save money, and invest in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. That's not it. The financial industry is two things: debt and taxes. Debt and taxes. And we still tell kids to go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, and get out of debt. Now, who tells them to do that? That's the most ridiculous thing there is.
The book starts and it says, lie number 1, saving money will make you rich.
Yeah, it never will. You know that.
All taught that as kids.
Yeah, because they can print it. Why would you save it and why would you work for it if they can print it faster than you can work for it? And number 2 is they keep dropping the interest rates on it. You know, Japan still has zero interest rate policy. And the Japanese are the biggest savers in the world. And I'm Japanese, I'm 4th generation. They're not too bright.
Right.
Why do you keep saving when they're printing it? You know, when I'm in Japan, that's what I mean by fear. They're so afraid because the Japanese, good culture, but they do as they're told.
Right. It's very conformist.
Very conformist, very conformist. So they just do as they're told, and then they just save money, and their government, this guy Abenomics, is just printing trillions of it and buying ETFs with it, and they don't know what to do. They're afraid they might make a mistake. They're good little students in school. Go to school, get a job, don't make mistakes. So what happens to the average person in a financial crash, they don't know what to do. And right now, as you know, for the middle class of the world, we're in a crash. You know, the purchasing power of the yen, the euro, the rupiah, all going down. And people are working harder and harder and harder, and the central banks of the world are printing more money.
And so if someone's listening to us that's stuck in that poor middle class trap and they hear it's their fear that ultimately is keeping them from that, that's a hard thing to hear, Robert.
Well, every time I do a lot of speaking to the masses out there, Lehman doesn't invite me in because we're gone, but they go, well, what, it's so risky. What you're saying is risky. And I said, what I do isn't risky for me, but it's risky for you. And when somebody says, what is risk? You have to look in the mirror. Do you know what I mean? For me to fly in Vietnam, that was high risk. But the higher the risk, the more you have to study. You know that, I know that. So if you're not going to study, you're not going to practice and all that, then you should do what Wall Street tells you to do. Buy 401ks, mutual funds, ETFs and all that. But that's where they're fake assets, because they only make Wall Street or the city of London rich. Just watch where the cash is flowing. Follow the money. The reason the rich don't work for money is number 1 expense is tax. So, when I ask the average guy, I said, why don't you use debt? They can't even get a loan because their scores, their FICO scores, I don't even have them here, are so bad.
Right.
So that's what's going on in the world today. It's fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. The school teachers will never tell you that because they don't know it.
I think you almost have to thrive on it. Like you say, you have to do what you love. But I think I do it, there's a lot of things that I do and you do, I don't love. I do it because of the challenge of it. Because without that, I do it for the pressure. It makes me stronger, better, smarter. I know if I solve this problem, I'll be smarter at the end of the problem. So I think that's what the pressure that I like about this is because we're creating out of nothing. When you created this building, there was nothing. And you said, now there's going to be a building here. And you go, wow.
Well, the word pressure is very interesting, and we're going to be doing a book together called The Midas Touch, and a lot of that book is going to be devoted to the word pressure.
Right.
Because if you can't handle pressure, you cannot be successful, really, in my view.
Right.
Almost successful at all, let alone very successful.
Right.
So you have to be able to withstand and handle pressure.
Well, the book, The Midas Touch, came from the idea that how come some entrepreneurs get rich, but most don't. And what the book is about is what you do and what I do that gives the edge to whatever we do. Because there's a lot of authors, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of guys on television, a lot of guys in real estate. But there are certain things that you do that give your buildings a 50% up value. There's some things that you do that are magical, that when I come to town, all I see is Trump buildings. I was just in Vegas, and all I see is Trump. When I go to Florida, I see is Trump, or Chicago, I just see Trump. And that's the magic of what the Midas Touch is about. There are certain things that you and I do that gives us the edge over the ordinary entrepreneur. For example, The Apprentice. How much was that worth? I mean, not just the television show, but how much was it worth to the overall Trump brand?
The Apprentice, by the way, for me has been just a great story.
Well, it was
because
part of the
nobody
comeback.
thought it was going to be successful. NBC didn't even sign me to more than a one-year contract. It was just a one-year thing. It was going to go on, it's going to go off. Like most shows, 97% of the shows that go on television fail. And The Apprentice was going to be, a one-time shot. It was going to go on. It was going to get a couple of people. In the meantime, we've had 15 copies of The Apprentice. Many great entrepreneurs copied it and failed. And it's been a tremendous success, and now goes on again right after the Super Bowl. So that's been fun. It's fun when they tell you it can't make it.
And that's what an entrepreneur does.
I love it. It makes life much more exciting. But The Apprentice has been so much fun for me, and especially knowing that it wasn't going to make it, and then it becomes the #1 show on television. So it really has been a lot of fun.
Right. And then, again, the Midas Touch goes back to you have a television show. I have my little public television shows. But when you write a book, it goes to a bestseller. When I write a book, it goes to a bestseller. That's the Midas Touch.
And Robert, remember this. You wrote one of the biggest selling books of all time.
Personal finance, right?
Right. And who the hell knows who you are? Who knows you? Who knows this guy? But now they know him. And
Well, I couldn't
I
get on
think
Larry
I
King.
helped you.
You did, yes.
It was very interesting. Larry King is a great guy, and he wants me on his show all the time, only because I get ratings. If I didn't get ratings, forget it. And one day Robert's up in my office, and he hears me telling Larry, I will not do your show. And Larry is a very persistent guy. Please do it, because I get ratings. Please do it, please do it. And that was the end. I said, I'm not doing it. And then Robert said to me, I've never been able to get on Larry King. I've never, ever, with this huge book, he's never been able to get on. And I called Larry back. I said, you know what, I'll do your show. Because I realized all of a sudden, in other words, you made me appreciate what I had.
Yes, that's part of the Midas Touch.
It's part of the Midas Touch, but you have it also.
Well, thank you.